Hello everyone, happy Tuesday, welcome back to my channel and to another reading vlog. It's been a hot minute since I've uploaded and I feel like I say that every video that I come back, and I have tried to film several reading vlogs over the past few weeks and it just hasn't worked because I've thought that the vibe was off in all of them. I just wasn't quite in the mood to film and I was forcing myself, and you know, that never turns out well. So hi, how you been? It's been a while, it's been a couple of months. I don't really have anything to update you guys on though because nothing's really changed, which I feel like is kind of sad when I haven't uploaded for a few months. At the moment, I'm still trying to work my way through my physical TBR, which is what I was doing in my past couple of videos. And at the moment, I'm currently reading Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World by Benjamin Alire Saenz. This is the second book in, I don't even know what the series is called, like the Aristotle and Dante series? I don't know. I read the first book when it came out years ago. I loved it. It is a total Bildungsroman. It is a classic coming of age story and it's full of so many themes of, you know, like finding yourself, finding your sexuality, embracing who you are. It's got themes about family and friendships and relationships, and there are just so many good and like happy things happening in that novel. And I was a little bit nervous going into my reread because I have a lot of like YA contemporary style books on my shelf that I haven't read yet, and all of the ones that I've picked up since I started going through this trying to read my physical TBR, I haven't liked. I have donated them to an op shop after I've read them. I haven't even really spoken about them at all because it was like, yeah, it was cute and it was fun, but yeah. So yeah, I was a little bit nervous to go into Aristotle and Dante because I loved it, and while I did enjoy rereading it a second time around, I definitely didn't love it as much as I did the first time, and I feel like that's just because my tastes as a reader have changed, and that's not the type of book that I would normally be able to sink into anymore. So I feel like I will be keeping it purely for like nostalgic reasons. I am enjoying this. It's good. I feel like it's a bit of a comfort read, but at the same time, it's not what I want to be reading. I feel like I'm forcing myself to finish it because I know that it is good and I know that it will be worth it. But at the same time, my brain is over here really wanting me to pick up my Kindle and just read a spicy romance because that's all it wants to do right now. It definitely doesn't help that this book is over 500 pages, and so it is taking a little bit of time to work my way through it. I feel like I'm reading a school book where like it's going slower because I have other things that I want to read. Both of these books, books 1 and 2, they're kind of separated into separate parts, and in each part there might be between like 20 and 30 chapters, and those chapters are really short. Like sometimes they can just be half a page. So what I've been doing is I'm reading like one part of this book and then I'll go read a whole ass romance on my Kindle, and it's working out pretty well so far. But I did finish reading a romance book this morning, so I am back to Aristotle and Dante, and then once I finish this part I can go back to a romance. Now I did have a quick squiz to see how many chapters are in this part before I can go back to a romance, and there are 41 chapters. I feel like this is gonna be like the biggest segment in this book. I'm not really excited for it because I have a feeling that the loss that is talked about in the blurb happens in this chapter, which also, yeah, the chapter goes on about how Ari is faced with a shocking loss, and we're almost 300 pages in and it hasn't happened yet. Hello, happy Wednesday. You are in the exact same angle that you were at yesterday. Apologies. I'm just gonna chat to you while I peel my mandarin, which I normally like mandarins, but these ones taste kind of weird. I just wanted to give you a quick update because my battery's about to die, and if that happens, I don't think I'll be filming anything else today. I ended up getting to the end of the part that I was reading in Aristotle and Dante, which means I get to start a new MM romance. And the one that I'm reading that I started last night, and I do not know why I started it because I think I fell asleep honestly like 2 pages into it, and I do not remember anything of the 2 pages that I read, so I'm just gonna go back to the start anyway. Cherry Picked by May Archer. It's the third book in the, oh, what series is it? Sunday Orchid series, I want to say. I read and loved the first one. Second one was really good as well, so I do have high hopes for this third one, I'm not gonna lie, and I am very excited to delve into it. It's like a brother's best friend, but I think there's a little bit of an age gap in there. I'm not sure what the age gap is, but I think there's one there. And from what I understand, the younger one is trying to convince his brother's best friend, this guy he's had a crush on for such a long time, to take his V card, and the brother's best friend is kind of like, oh. So I finished it. I kid you not, like, I finished this book within 24 hours of starting it. This series is based around the Sunday family. There's a bunch of lumberjack style brothers all finding their happily ever after, but this one, book 3, is focused on Hawk, who is like the quietest of the bunch. Like, he's a bit more of an introvert, he likes his private time, he likes his reading, whereas all of his other brothers are so loud and out there and everything. And so this was about Hawk finding his happily ever after. He has had a crush on his brother's best friend, Jack, for like 7 years. And so he's 24, he's got to this point in his life where he's like, I want to lose my virginity. And who better to lose it to someone that I love, that I respect, that I trust, and that's Jack. And so he asks Jack, hey, will you take my B card? And Jack's like, whoa, dude, so many obstacles in the way of that. No, but thanks. It kind of falls into one of those, I want you but can't have you, but if I can't have you then no one else can have you type situations, where he's trying to like interfere with these dates that Hawk is setting up, and it's a whole ordeal, and that blurb just got me so excited for the book. But I am gonna delve into a little bit of like spoilery territory now, so if you haven't read this book yet and don't want to be spoiled, I'll put a time up here somewhere that you can skip to. Okay, you've been warned, I'm gonna spoil shit now. I feel like the blurb is not what we got, because the way that the blurb described this book, hold on, let me get it up so I can actually tell you what it actually says. Okay, this is the blurb as it's written on Goodreads. This is Hawk saying that he thought Jack was brilliant until he started getting so many things boneheadedly wrong, like refusing to do the deflowering himself, but also blocking any other potential plant lovers from getting all up in my garden. That sentence says to me that Jack is kind of going out of his way to ruin any of Hawk's like potential suitors. So if a guy expressed that he was interested, maybe he'll go in there and spread some rumors, or maybe he'll just like crash the date or whatever. That's the kind of image that that blurb gave me, and it's not what we got at all. Hawk is so in love with Jack that he cannot even consider the idea of going out with someone else for the purpose of hooking up. Like, he mentions it several times throughout the novel, but only to get a rise out of Jack and to kind of like show him what he's missing, that type of thing. I did feel like that section of the blurb was a little bit misleading, but all in all, the book was so much fun. I highlighted so many phrases, so many lines, because May Archer just has this way of writing that I love, that makes me laugh. It's so good. I did rate this book a 4.5 stars out of 5, just because there was something that it was missing, and I don't know what it was. I think it might have been like, I don't want to say a lack of connection, because Hawk and Jack had a really big connection, but maybe just, you know, they both, not both, Jack, was all Jack really. He just denied himself something that he wanted for such a long portion of the book, only to kind of realize in the end, and he was like, holy shit, we've pretty much been in a relationship the whole time, and I've just been pushing my feelings down for like the past 4 years. And I was like, I get it. It was such a sweet, cute revelation. Selfishly, like, I just wanted that little bit more. I wanted them together more. I feel like we didn't really get to see that beautiful friendship that Hawk and Jack have too much in the beginning of the novel, before Hawk dropped that cherry-picking bombshell. It didn't decimate their friendship, but it definitely made it very, very strained for a majority of the novel. That does mean that I am going back to reading Aristotle and Dante. I don't have a whole lot left now. Okay, there is only one part left, meaning once I finish this next part, I'm done. On a different topic, I got a package, because despite being out of work and having no stable income, I've decided to start spending more on books than I did when I actually had a job. Someone explained to me how that works. I told myself that I'm not allowed to buy any more books until, one, I have read, and when I say any more books, I mean like books that I haven't read before, so completely new releases, new reads to me. I'm not allowed to buy any of those until, one, I finish all of the books that I haven't read on my physical TBR, which is what I'm very slowly working my way to. The loophole to that is that I can buy books that I have read and have loved. There are a few books in here. First, We have Henry by Ella Frank. Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't bought any of like the Confession series by Ella Frank yet. I don't even have any of the Temptation series. Like, Ella Frank is one of my favorite MM romance authors. I think the only books that I own by her are the Elite trilogy and the Primetime trilogy. So I'm very happy to have, or to start, my Confessions collection. We also have Bailey by Ella Frank. We have Viper by Ella Frank and Brooke Blaine. This is, what number is this? Number 2 in the Fallen Angel series. We have The Princess, the Prick, and the Priest, also by Ella Frank. This is book 4 in the Confession series. And the last one in this package is Halo by Ella Frank and Brooke Blaine, which is book 1 in the Fallen Angel series. I already have book 3, so this just completed my collection of this trilogy. So you might be able to tell by the cover. I feel like you kind of can, or maybe it's just because I already know what it's about. But this is like a rock star romance between 2 of the like lead people in the band. Their romance is stretched out over 3 books, and I just have like a bad history with rockstar romances. I read a really, not a bad one, but one that I shouldn't have read based on the tropes that were in the book because it really wasn't my taste. That kind of puts me off reading literally any rockstar romance ever that pops up on my TBR because I'm scared that it's gonna be like the same kind of thing. This was not. This was beautiful. I loved it. I'm obsessed with it. I've only read it the once, but now I have the whole trilogy, which makes me really happy. I don't have Lust, Hate, Love, which is book 4, set around a different character in like their same group. Oh, so I have 4, 5, and 6 in the Confession series. Confessions kind of takes place after the Temptation series, and I feel like I'm making absolutely zero sense to people who have no idea what I'm talking about. Ella Frank, very popular MM romance author. One of her most popular series is the Temptation series. It's a 6-book series about Logan and Tate, one of my favorite MM romance series of all time. In that series, we get to meet Robbie, who undergoes a little bit of a character arc and several changes even just throughout the Temptation series, and everyone fell in love with him, so he ended up getting his own series, which is an MMM like poly romance series between him, Julian, and Priest, who are 2 other characters that we meet in the Temptation series. Books 1 through 4 are about their romance and kind of how they get together. This is where we meet Bailey, one of the 3 Bailey brothers. So he's Sean's brother from the Primetime series, if you've read that one. If you've read the, I think it's the Dare to Try or Dare You series by Ella and Brooke as well, where we meet Kieran. He is another of the Bailey brothers, so they all have their own books, but Bailey was the first Bailey brother that we actually met. So in these 2 books, we get to read about his romance with Henry. I haven't been vlogging for the past few days because I have been putting off finishing Aristotle and Dante. I hate to say this, but I don't care. I get that it's a coming of age story, it's a development story, but there's no plot. I've been reading Wattpad instead. I look like trash. It is 8 p.m. on a Saturday night, and I'm gonna sit here and try to finish this. If I have to go through this, you do too. We're doing a time lapse. Well, there was nothing wrong with it. I think if I'd read this when I was younger, when I was still reading a lot of YA and I was still reading a lot of contemporary, then I probably would love it. But my tastes have changed. I don't know what to do with this. Was it good? Yes. Did I care about it a whole lot? No. I, for some reason, still feel an attachment to it and an attachment to these characters, and I don't know why. I literally put off reading this for days because I didn't give a shit. And now that it's finished, I'm like, my babies, my boys, my Ari and Dante, and yet I still don't care. And I'd kind of already decided that I was going to keep the first one and donate this one, because the first one I would keep more for like sentimental reasons, and if I feel like getting rid of it further down the line, then I can always do that. But now I kind of want to keep this one too. Thank you for watching. Even though it wasn't all that great, I'll see you guys in the next reading vlog.